G'day team, Punt Road back here with another video. Before I start today's one, which is a Metallica one, just wanted to say thanks to everyone out there who's subscribed, who've commented, shared and liked. We have hit 500 subscribers. It's big. Thank you so much. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Your support on X, Twitter, Insta, Threads, Facebook and here has been phenomenal. Deeply humbled. Thank you so much. Just want to quickly get on there now that I've done those thank yous and get to another thank you. Thank you to Metallica for all their great music, because we have a bootleg here, which I picked up many years ago in Asia on a family trip. And that is the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, or just Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Let's not number them, although as you can see by that artwork that there is clearly 4. If we have a look on the back, you see a couple of 4 scaly young men there from Metallica, and Cliff, Kirk, James and Lars, smashing a couple of beers as they did back in the day when they were alcoholica, before they later got into beetroot burgers and yoga and all that sort of stuff. Bootlegs were a huge thing back in the day, pre-internet. You wanted to know what your bands did, what they sounded like when maybe they had different members during demos or live performances. You picked up one of these. I went to this place, I think it was in Singapore, with my family, and my dad said, go for your life, get as much stuff as you want, because it was super cheap. Obviously it was yar, that's right, you know what the word is. It was pie and it was rated, and I don't want to get demonetized, hence that. They had every band you could think of. So I went straight to the Metallica, Megadeth, all the bands, the heavy bands that I like section. Found this one and it confused me because it had a whole bunch of different songs on there, which I had never even heard of the titles to, let alone what bands members were playing on it or who it was. So I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but I just wanted to point out some of the joys that was that pre-internet time. But it was very hard to corroborate who was saying what meant what, who had done what. There was a lot of what's, how's, who, why's and where's there, and you couldn't just grab your phone out and just type in a question to get an answer to that. So, you know, very quickly, the mechanics, that was one of the reasons I got it, because I wanted to hear what it was like with James Hetfield singing and Dave Mustaine still on guitar. That was obviously recorded in Ron's garage, and then the Low Life to Leather demo. They just call it In a Garage here. So Ron McGovney doesn't even get a shout out, but a shout out to Ron. He's on X and Twitter. He's an informative guy and he's always very helpful and puts up little fantastic trivia and tidbits from back in his time there. But that was recorded there. It goes through that whole No Life to Leather demo. So you've got Seek and Destroy, you have Motor Breath and Hit the Lights as well. Plus it's got a couple of other pre-Kirk Hammett Metallica numbers in there with Jump in the Fire, Metal Militia, Seek and Destroy. Did I mention that before? I have now. It's got some covers in there. So you've got Killing Time. You have Let It Loose, which is actually quite a good song and probably arguably could have, gone on to being one that they formerly recorded. And then this is where things start to get odd. So it has a song called You and Me. Now it says that was recorded in 1982 as a Metallica demo. It's actually 1985 Megadeth demo, because it talks about, and I quote on here, with a high voice. So that high voice is actually Dave, and that's the Killing Is My Business demo for that song. And there's also another song in here, number 9, called Rock Me. That is also from the Killing Is My Business demo session. So neither of those have anything to do with Metallica, but once again, as I said, hard to verify these things back in the day. They do always pull a few tricks. And look, they sold it to me, so either I'm a mug or they're very good at convincing people. It also has Kirk playing on an early demo of Fight Fire with Fire. Then it has Ride the Lightning and Creeping Death. And then the last one on here, which you may not know of, which would later become quite a famous song, is When Hell Freezes Over. Now that is another one that Mustaine contributed to it became eventually The Call of Cthulhu. It's a very interesting demo, that one. You can obviously hear with the opening part of that riff before we get to the main A minor riff, which starts on a D minor, which would later become the opening for Hangar 18 obviously sped up a bit and much more distorted. That A minor riff would be employed by Mustaine years later, once again in Megadeth, for the song When, which is the final track, the closing track on The World Needs a Hero. So it was pretty interesting, I must say, to have this CD back in the day and to be able to listen to some of these great moments in evolution of metal. I love the history and evolution of metal and styles, particularly thrash, which was my favorite at the time. But as I say, there was a couple of red herrings in there and a few misleading points around 1982, 1983, where it was recorded, who recorded on it, who was the lead guitarist, etc., etc. That was very confusing. The final song in there, which I didn't mention as well, is Creeping Death, which is a demo, which is once again Kirk on there. And that's probably a good way to end that CD out, because now you're fully into the Metallica as we know it and as we go on to be famous. Having said that, maybe they could have put the Megadeth ones at the end and actually labelled them properly, and then you could have seen Dave's transformation several years later after leaving. But hey, you can't get everything you want. So that was a fantastic little bootleg that I picked up back in the day. I've got more of this, more physical media, more crazy stuff that's going to come out, and I will definitely be sharing it with you guys. What I would love, obviously, if you can subscribe, brilliant. Please share, please like, but I'd love your comments. I really want to know what videos you guys want to hear. What are the things that you'd like me to talk about? What topics, what bands, what insights would you like more opinions? Because I'm more than happy to do that, because I can very much give you my opinion on this. And I would say that it really was a little bit of garbage in the way they led me, but brilliant songs, brilliant tracks. Can't argue with the demos, can't argue with the history. Please let me know. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for your time, guys. Really appreciate it. And as I always say, have a ripper, mates.